Hello, everyone. Hi, nice to see you. Here we are live again in our Just Love It group, our weekly love. Today, it is just me, unfortunately. Kelsey couldn't make it. But anyway, we are here, and we promised you guys 2 weeks ago that we would talk more about the concept of safety. So last week, unfortunately, we couldn't make it. So I thought, even if it's just me, I don't want to leave you guys hanging. So yeah, 2 weeks ago, we talked about the concept of safety, and just for anybody who hasn't watched it or, is just catching us today, we talked about safety being a felt sense in the body, a sensation that we feel in our system. And we explained that it is as safety as a concept, as we talk about it here in this context, it is something very subjective, and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to have a logical explanation. It's not an objective fact. It is a subjective feeling that we have in our body. And it's something that we sense, it's something that we can cultivate. And, maybe it can happen that you're walking around, or you're just having a conversation with somebody that you feel very familiar with, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a partner. And maybe all of a sudden you realize that your heart is beating really fast, or that you're a little bit sweaty, or you're a little bit nervous. And you actually don't feel safe, or you don't feel safe talking about a certain topic. And that can very well happen. And we don't always have to understand it. And I think what is really important is that you don't talk yourself out of it, because, there's just so many things going on in our minds. Our mind is constantly picking up on a million different things that are going outside, that are going on in our system. Maybe a thought, like we smelled something and reminded us of something that, not on a conscious level, but on a very subconscious level. So we're not even consciously aware that this is going on, but there's just so much going on within our minds that, we don't necessarily understand what's going on. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more about the importance of safety and feeling truly grounded and safe in our experience, in our day-to-day, feeling truly relaxed, because essentially feeling safe, in the way we understand it here, it's like you really feel relaxed in your nervous system, right? Like, as we talked about it 2 weeks ago, it's like, I realized, oh, there's no tigers in the room, right? Like, I don't feel worried. I'm fully in the present moment. Like, I'm not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, because if I'm worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, I don't feel safe. Like, I don't feel safe that I'm taken care of, right? I don't feel safe. I don't feel like I'm going to be safe and taken care of tomorrow, right? So feeling safe is really about being in the present moment and just knowing that you're taken care of and nothing's going to happen to you right here, right now. And only when we're feeling safe right here, right now, in our body, fully present, can we expand, can our, nervous system relax, and we can go on and create something beautiful in our lives, right? And so this relaxation and this feeling of safety is really essential. And if you want to advance in your life, for example, say you want to advance in your career, or create something new, create a business, and if you're constantly pushing from that place of not feeling safe, it's like, I don't feel safe. Like, I don't have enough money. I don't know if I can feed myself. You're creating from that place of, I'm not feeling safe. I'm not feeling taken care of. So you're constantly chasing after something. You're constantly pushing. And what I want to bring forth today is that whenever we're really pushing, we're either not going to create something beautiful, because we're really coming from the energy of like, like, I need to get through, like, and it's like you constantly recreating that struggle. Like, life is a constant struggle. And so when you're creating from that energy, you're going to create more of that, right? Like we talked about that before as well, that the energy from which we create, like the energy behind the action, like, why am I doing this? How am I feeling? Like, why do I want to do this? Is it because I am so excited and I want to create more of that, like that positive, excited, beautiful energy? Or am I just so contracted in creating from that place of lack? Like, I need to do something and push through so that I can finally feel safe, right? Like, once I make that amount of money, I'm going to feel safe, right? So you're constantly sort of pushing, but you're like, that like scarcity or that like unhappiness or that like contracted feeling, you're constantly pushing that in front of yourself and you're not getting out of it because you're constantly in it and just pushing. So what I want to say is that if you're creating from that contracted place and pushing so much, like even if you manage to create something, it's probably not going to be sustainable, right? Because whenever we push so hard, like we just deplete ourselves and we end up being exhausted, and we end up having a mental, breakdown, or we just, we just come to a point of burnout because we're exhausted. So there's something that I wanted to bring forth today, something that I heard recently, and I really enjoy that concept. Somebody said, it's really like go with the flow, or even go with the slow energy. And so I'm really such a big fan of this lately, like really slow and steady wins the race, right? Like once you can really slow down, and even just as as we're sitting here, and if you're listening, and if you can, just sit down and just close your eyes and feel the moment and just catch your breath and just, feel the in-breath and watch how deep your breath goes into your belly. And even noticing if your breath travels all the way to your belly, or if it stops somewhere along the way because maybe there's a constriction in the body. Maybe there's a contraction, something squeezing in your chest, not allowing you to relax fully, right? And even if that's the case, that's totally okay. Just observing the breath like this, allowing it to flow for a minute. Yeah. And just like that, we can invite some of that slowness, some of that relaxation, some of that flow into our life. And when we're in this place, we can really start to tap into the flow. What is the flow right now? What is my flow? Is my flow going right now? Or maybe my flow right now is just to relax and take it easy. And so this is where this whole concept of go with the slow comes in. It's all about relaxing and resourcing first. Because if you don't have the resource within yourself, if you're trying to pour out of an empty cup, you're not going to get very far. And so what I'm all about is really living life in a way that's sustainable. Because if you're constantly running yourself dry, because you're constantly running and constantly pushing, because you do all the things, even if you don't feel fully safe and relaxed in your nervous system, it's not sustainable, and you're going to end up being burnt out and needing somebody else's help, right? So really, I think it's really a challenging, it's a very controversial perspective to come here and say, hey, let's all slow down on a massive level and just really ask ourselves, like, what would it look like if I gave myself the time and space, if I gave myself the permission to slow down first. And only once I feel fully safe in my experience right here, right now, then I take action, right? How would that look like? Like, how would my action look like if I actually felt safe? How would I be able to grow in a sustainable way if I felt more safety, if I wasn't running around like a headless chicken? Yeah. And so last week we also talked about, some tips about on how to create more safety in our nervous system, right? Like, some of us honestly don't even really know what it is, because we're just so used to living life from this place of like, I need to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. I need to worry about what I'm going to eat. I need to worry about where my next paycheck is coming from. I need to worry about, what my boss is going to say, or if I'm going to sign a new client, or what my partner or my parents or my kids are going to think and say. Right. And it's so cultural to constantly worry, like we think we're going to win a prize if we worry more. But is it really helping us? Right. And so I just want you to get that whenever you have a thought of worry, it's like you don't feel safe, like you feel like there's a potential danger. That's why you need to worry, right? Like every single time you're like, oh, but what if this happens? Oh, but what if, oh, maybe I should do this. Like, you're constantly worrying that something bad and dangerous might happen to you. And so how can we tap into this safety, right? It's just really trying to be in the here and now. Like, it could be as simple as going outside and just turning off your phone, or maybe, just pausing the notification and just listening to some music and just feeling the sunshine on your skin. Maybe, lying in the grass and just smelling the smells of the spring or summer, and just really being in the here and now. And just asking yourself, wow, like, what is here, right now? Right? No tigers in the room. No planes crashing above your head. But oftentimes what's really important is to get support, to get connection from another human being. Like, feeling truly connected and held and seen by another human being can make a massive difference. And that's why, we also talk about the power of community, the power of working with a coach, or working with somebody who can support you, on like, who can just sit and hold presence for you and just love on you unconditionally, right? And that you can truly feel safe with. And again, it's not something, oftentimes, usually it's not like you can just build that level of safety with somebody from one day to another, right? And it's actually really difficult even for another person to give us that feeling of safety, because oftentimes, we just need to feel held and loved and seen by somebody. But, then perhaps you're going for a challenge and somebody just starts giving you a bunch of advice and telling you what to do, and it just doesn't feel safe to your system, right? When somebody just starts telling you what to do, if you're in a difficult place, if you're going through some challenge, hearing somebody telling you what you did wrong and what you should do better, it feels kind of threatening, like it feels unsafe. You feel like, wow, this person maybe you even feel like this person is attacking you, right? Or criticizing you. And that's, again, not very safe, not very comforting. So it can be challenging. And again, that's why, we are, Kirsty and I are decided to be activist coaches, because we have worked with a community, worked with coaches, and it really takes a lot of work, actually, sometimes to rewire your nervous system to get used to this sense of safety, and slowly allow yourself to let go and to actually feel held and feel safe by yourself, with another human being, or in front of a whole community. So I guess all this to say that, it starts with awareness. Like it's usually a process. Like these things are not, you can't really rewire your entire nervous system from one day to another. But it's a process, and it takes that awareness, right, to start paying attention to these things, and even just get curious, like just a little practice. Like you can sit down in a meditation and just close your eyes, even for as short as 2 minutes, and just ask yourself, do I feel safe right now? Right? Like whenever you feel yourself a little bit stuck in your head and you're like trying to figure something out and you can't figure it out, or you get irritated, or you feel your heart beating, just ask yourself, how do I feel? How's my nervous system feeling? Do I feel safe? And if not, why? Perhaps you want to get curious. Why do I not feel safe? But you don't even have to, right? You're just sort of noticing, do I feel safe in my experience right now? Do I feel safe in the room I'm in? Do I feel safe in my body? It's a big one. And do I feel safe perhaps with the person that I'm with right now, or in the situation I'm in right now? And just by noticing, not judging, not thinking, oh, I should feel safe, oh, I should or shouldn't feel this way. Just by noticing, we can, bring more awareness to our breath and slow down our breath. And just bringing more awareness to our state, which naturally just slows down whatever's going on. So I would say this is a short practice that's quite easy to take up. And really, this is pretty much all that we're talking about here, right? Like it's the power of slowing down, of tuning in. How are we really feeling in the present moment, right here, right now? Getting curious. How am I feeling? What do I need? And, whatever I'm feeling, is it here, right now? Or am I worrying about the future? And just getting curious, not judging, just observing. How am I feeling? Okay. So I'm just going to allow it. Beautiful. Well, I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. I do have to say, I was a little bit nervous coming here, showing up online live all by myself without Kirsty. Definitely feeling into that safety piece. Like, do I feel safe coming here all by myself, speaking live? And, again, it's like I could go and be like, no, this is wrong. I have to feel safe. Like there's nothing, nothing going on. But again, like I said right at the beginning, it's like there's nothing objective about one person's individual feeling of safety. It's a subjective feeling that we get to have, and we don't need to understand. We don't need to justify. we just get to observe it and be like, okay, there's a part of me that really does not feel safe coming here, showing up online, and that gets to be okay, right? So thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you got some value out of it. Let us know. Let me know in the comments if you found it interesting or if you have any questions. And hopefully both Kirsty and I will see you again next week. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.